If you're thinking about buying a home, you're probably wondering where you can get a great home in a wonderful community for the best price right now, and one with the most upside potential. Bernal Heights, where I grew up, is one of the neighborhoods that has dropped more than others and has created opportunities for buyers. Today, I'm going to walk you through a typical house in Bernal and show you some of the different areas and explain why it's a great time to buy here. But before we head out, let's take a look at the different areas of Bernal on the map. Bernal is a complicated neighborhood. It feels like it's 5 different neighborhoods in one, and it can be difficult to get your head around. It's a dense neighborhood with good weather and walkability for most areas of the neighborhood, and commuting from Bernal is pretty easy with quick access to highways 280 and 101. What I love most about this neighborhood is a sense of community. My parents, who have lived in their home since the 80s, and I can tell you that they know everyone in town. It's a neighborhood where you might meet at Presida Park or Bernal Heights Park and go for a stroll with the kids or the dogs, or just go to a boot camp class in the summer times at Presida Park on Wednesday mornings. Everyone is super inclusive and welcoming, so you're sure to find new friends here if you choose to live in Bernal. Now, let's take a look at the map and I'll walk you through what makes each area unique. So Bernal Heights sits on the south side of the city above the 280, and it's bordered by other great neighborhoods like Noe Valley, Glen Park, Potrero Hill. A buyer who's looking in these adjacent areas, it's probably also looking at Bernal Heights, especially if their budget seems on the bubble of affordability in areas like Noe Valley or Potrero Hill. In terms of affordability, as a comparison, I'd say it ranks Noe Valley, Potrero Hill, Glen Park, and then Bernal. So you just get a little bit more bang for your buck here compared to its adjacent areas. Let's start with the north slope. So the north slope of the neighborhood is right here, right around Presida Park. So Presida Park is this park here. And what's great about this area is that not only Presida Park in of its own is a great part of the town, because you have tons of restaurants that hug the park. You've got a nice bodega here, a great Mexican restaurant. You've got another coffee shop here. And then the park is just great to just gather with, the family, take the dogs out for a walk. It's a pretty, dog-friendly park. So you'll often see your neighbors, either walking their dogs or hanging out with their kids. There is a kids' playground here. So the park is great in and of itself. However, what makes this area really desirable is the walkability. So as you can see, it's close proximity to Cesar Chavez Street and Mission Street here. So both those streets offer a lot of walkability or pretty easy commute, right? So if you go just down Cesar Chavez here, you'll get to Highway 101 to head to the South Bay or downtown. If you go a little bit further, you can hit 280 pretty easily. Another nice thing about the north part of this neighborhood, it's walkability to 24th Street BART. So you've got 24th Street BART right over here, and it's a pretty flat walk to get there. So if you need access to the BART, that's pretty easy to get to. Now let's explore the west side of the neighborhood. So that's like all of this right over here, just west of Bernal Heights Park. What's nice about this part of town are many things. Well, let's just take a look at, for instance, Elsie Street, right? We'll go out and explore the street later, but what makes Elsie a pretty coveted street, along with its adjacent streets like Winfield and Prospect and Bondview, is that you get big views on this side, right? So depending on what side of the street you're on, you're going to get Sutro Tower views, city views. You even get downtown and bridge views from Elsie Street, Winfield, Prospect, and Lundy's. So the homes on this side of town are really desirable for that reason. They generally sell for higher prices per square foot for those views, but not only for the views, you also, as you can see, get pretty good walkability. So you can easily walk to the north slope in Presida Park. You can easily get to the highway onto Cesar Chavez from here. You can easily walk to the Mission from here. And so that is also true for the North Slope here and this west part of the neighborhood. You can walk to all the cool stuff on Valencia Street, right? The Valencia corridor is not very far from here. So it's a nice flat walk to all of the great stuff that lies on Valencia Street. So that's a really, really desirable part of Bernal. Another desirable part of Bernal is going to be sort of the South Slope. And by South Slope, I mean south of Bernal Heights Park. However, the most desirable is going to be north of Cortlandt Avenue, which is this street, this main street here. And so the homes that sell sort of right in here are really nice because you get easy walkability to Cortlandt Avenue and you get access to the park, right? And so the park is really great. If you haven't been up there, you get really nice views. It's a great place to walk your dog, etc. And so homes here are generally pretty desirable. The streets are pretty narrow in here, and again, they can get pretty windy. Let's move on to the east part of the neighborhood, which is going to be all of this hugging the Highway 101, right, and east of the park. So this part of town becomes less desirable for many reasons. The first reason is, as you can see here on the map, it's not super walkable to either Cortlandt or Mission Street. So on this part of town, it's about a 17-minute walk to Cortlandt Avenue, but as you can see, it's a nice hike back up. Similarly, if you're walking down to Presida Park, it's a nice hike back up. So either way, you're walking back uphill, and it's roughly anywhere from a 12 to 17-minute walk in either direction. You're also pretty far from Mission Street, so you're really not going to be walking to the Valencia corridor if you're living on this side of Bernal. Let's go south here and take a look at what's south of Cortlandt Avenue. So you've got another park here, Holly Park, which is a great park, and homes right around here do still sell well because it's very easily accessible to Cortlandt Avenue. But what I really want to take a look at is this part of the neighborhood down here. Really all of this down here. And this part of the neighborhood, excuse my circle, but whatever that is, that part of the neighborhood is called St. Mary's Park. This part of the neighborhood is really, it changes drastically. So we'll tour this part of the area later today, and you'll see what I'm referencing. It just feels very different. When you go down here, you'll find that what's nice about this part of town is that the streets are wider. You also are, just above Highway 280 here. So, depending on like some homes here on Justin or Ellsworth, you're gonna get highway noise and potentially views of the highway. But what's nice about, in terms of the homes here in St. Mary's Park, they are generally larger. This part of town is not really as dense as the rest of the neighborhood. Homes on average are roughly 2,000 square feet and above. And so you're just getting a little bit more bang for your buck on this part of town. Price per square foot are generally under 1,000 here and sometimes selling in the 800 range. So you're getting more for your money here, but it just feels very, very removed. You do have Mission Street. This is Mission Street here. So you can walk to this part of the Mission, but this part of the Mission isn't really the sexy part of the Mission. It's pretty far from the Valencia corridor. And so there's not really much to walk to here. So you really lose walkability on this side of the neighborhood as well. So now that we've got our heads around the location on the map, I want to take you to some of these areas so you get a better sense of what it's like to live there. Before we head out, if you're looking for more videos about what it's like to live in San Francisco, make sure you hit that subscribe button. My name is Yesenia and I'm part of the Krishnan team, helping buyers every day find the right home. If you're someone who is thinking about buying or selling, reach out to us or contact us at the info below. Let's go look around.
So we're here on Cortlandt Avenue, which is a neighborhood's downtown. It's a strip that's lined with many restaurants, coffee shops, bodegas, grocery stores, bars. There's something for everyone here on Cortlandt Avenue. Today, I'll show you my 3 favorite spots, but if you're interested in diving more into these areas of Bernal, we do have a neighborhood video that's all about Bernal Heights. So let's go in and grab a coffee. All right, so now that I got my matcha, if you haven't tried it, their matcha there is amazing. So my two other favorite spots are Epicurean Trader here. I love this shop because it's a small little boutique shop where you can find like artisanal cheeses, different jams, like truffle, olive oil, just really unique things that you may not find at your average grocery store. So that's a must go to for some quick little unique finds to add to your kitchen. Another one of my favorites on Cortlandt Avenue is Vega. It's my favorite restaurant. It's a tradition for my family and I to come on a Friday evening and enjoy pizza, pasta, some really good wine. The best pizza in San Francisco, in my opinion, is found here, and it's the truffle mushroom pizza. It's to die for, you guys, if you love truffle, of course. So here at Vega, it is closed right now, but they do open at 5 o'clock. And on a weekend, it might be good to potentially get a reservation because it can get pretty busy. We're here on Elsie Street, and this is a really prime example of many things that we talked about earlier, like different things that make Bernal kind of quirky. So Elsie Street is a highly coveted street in Bernal because it offers big views, right? So similar to Prospect Street or Winfield or some other streets like Montcalm or Bonneview, you'll find big views on these streets. So you get Sutro Tower views, city views, downtown and bridge views from this street, depending on what side of the street you're on. Another quirky thing about Bernal that I mentioned earlier is the narrow street. So people often say like, oh, I don't really love Bernal because the streets are narrow and it's hard to drive through and they're windy and that sort of thing. So Elsie Street is an example of not necessarily a windy street, but a narrow street. So I'm here at Elsie and Esmeralda, where at this intersection of Elsie Street, like one side of the street turns into a one-way, while the other side, you can actually keep going, but it's actually really scary because you're going up a hill. And so you don't know if a car's coming. So you just kind of have to know that about this street and drive a little slower, I'd say. So again, this part of Bernal is really, really desirable. Homes do typically sell for higher price per square foot for those view homes. And then also what's nice about this part of Bernal is that you can easily walk to the Mission and Precita Park. Okay, guys, now we're at my favorite location of Bernal. Maybe I'm a little biased because I get to call this part of Bernal home. We're on the north slope of the neighborhood. Precita Park is where I'm at right now. My parents' house is just a block away from the park. We actually just ran into my mom about 10 minutes ago. She was walking to grab some tacos on Mission Street. So what buyers love most about this part of town is that it's very walkable. If you watched our Bernal Heights neighborhood video, you saw us interview the owner of Precita Park Cafe, where you can get everything over there. So you've got tons of stuff just lining the park, but it's also very walkable to Mission Street. You can walk to Dolores Park from here. I do all the time. And you have easy access to the highways 280 and 101 for those that are commuting either downtown or to the South Bay. The Muni lines run along Mission Street, which are super easily accessible. If you're going downtown, you can hop on a Muni. The homes here don't typically have views right around the park because it's pretty flat. But I think what most people really love about this part of town is the walkability. So I especially wanted to get out and show you this part of Bernal, St. Mary's Park, because this part of Bernal really actually doesn't feel like the neighborhood at all. I'm standing here off of Justin Drive in the neighborhood, and you'll notice that the streets are just much wider. The homes are much larger. They're detached. So you just don't have the same density that you have in other parts of the neighborhood. Another thing about St. Mary's Park is that the weather changes drastically on this part of the neighborhood. So you get cooler, foggier weather than you do in other parts of Bernal. It's also much less walkable. It's on the southern tip of the neighborhood. You can walk to Mission Street. So Mission Street is just like a block away from where we're standing currently. But it really isn't the sexy part of Mission Street. You know, it doesn't feel as tight. The streets are wider, but you do really just get more bang for your buck, right? So as an example, a home at 40 Murray just sold. It was a 4-bedroom house that was just above 2,100 square feet, and that's sold at $853 a square foot. So much lower than your average prices that you see in other parts of the neighborhood. And so it just, it feels very, very different. So I wanted to make sure that you got out and saw what St. Mary's Park is all about. So I'm sitting here in the middle of the street on Franconia Street. Franconia Street is an example of a less walkable part of Bernal. The nice thing about Franconia is that you do have very easy accessibility to Bernal Heights Park, which is amazing for just walks around the park, but it's not really a walkable part of Bernal. On Franconia, you do get views. On this side of the street, you do get some views, but the views are really of the highway, and you also get highway noise here. So it's not really a view that is particularly desirable. And so while there are view homes here, those just don't really sell for higher prices because, again, the view is not one that people really desire. And then it's also not very walkable.
Now that we've got our head around the neighborhood, let's explore why it's a prime time to buy in Bernal. So far this year, the average price per square foot is $1,075 with a height of $1,597 a square foot versus in 2021 and Q2 of 2022 when the average was $1,154 a square foot with a height of $1,922 a square foot. This year there has not been a single sale that has reached the $1,600 a square foot and only 2 sales that hit in the $1,500 a square foot range, but those homes were very small homes, under 1,000 square feet. And if you recall from our Guess the Price video where we explain the price per square foot metric, naturally the price per square foot on smaller homes will go up. So to demonstrate this, let's take a look at a home that sold in Q1 of 2022. This home is 88 Manchester. It was listed by Isabel Grotte of Compass. And this home was a small home. As you can see here, it was only 963 square feet. It was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. It sold at $1,851,000 at $1,922 a square foot. So just shy of $2,000 a square foot. Let's take a look at some of the photos here of this house. So this house was a very cute house, but as you can see, it needed a kitchen update, right? So the kitchen was very old at some point. The buyers who bought this probably were looking to do a kitchen remodel. Same with the bathroom. It was a really dated bathroom. And so again, doing a kitchen and bathroom remodel could be anywhere, roughly $100,000. So again, that one sold in Q1 of 2022. Let's take a look as a comparison to 166 Anderson Street that sold this year in May. This house was also a 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. It was same size at 933 square feet, just 30 square feet off. And this home sold at just shy of 1.5 million at 1,490,000 at $1,597 a square foot. So guys, that's roughly a 20% drop from the house on Manchester that sold in 2022. Let's take a look at some of these photos because I want to point out something very important here, that the home in terms of the size and square footage was the same, but as you can see here, this home was much more updated, right? So it had an open concept, a beautiful kitchen. It also had an updated bathroom. And so this house was really just move-in ready. And so if we're factoring not only the price difference, but factoring in the updates that the other home needed, really you're getting a turnkey, beautiful move-in ready home for 25% less than we were seeing in 2022. Let's take a look at another example of this. So this home on 31 Prospect that was listed by Annie Williams and Katie of Sotheby's sold in June of this year. This home was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 1,272 square feet, and it sold at $1,650,000 at just shy of $1,300 a square foot at $1,297 a square foot. So let's take a look at some of the photos of this home. It was, nicely nicely done. What you can't see in the photo here is that this home did have big views, right? So on Prospect Street, you are getting big views here. You get the city view here, and you get Sutro Tower views as well. This home was also updated. So let's take a look at the kitchen. I mean, it wasn't updated yesterday. It looks like they, refreshed the kitchen, but overall turnkey. And it had really nice access to the outdoor space. It had a smaller lot, right? So the outdoor space wasn't quite large. That's true for a lot of the homes on this street. Let's go ahead and compare that to a home that sold in 2021. So this house on the same block on Prospect was also a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 1,350 square feet, so just about the same size. This home sold at a whopping $2.2 million at $1,629 a square foot. Sure, this house sat a little bit more up the hill on Prospect. The views on this side of the street, on this part of the street are just a little bit more profound, but it's the same view. This home also did have a more renovated kitchen, pretty much same lot size. So there were some differences in this home, but I don't think those differences really amounted to that much of a difference in price per square foot and overall price. So that's another great example of a value that you're getting in Bernal today. All right, so now that we've got you all excited about the potential in Bernal, let's go tour one of our listings so you get a better sense of what a home is actually like in Bernal.
Welcome to this gorgeously renovated home just a half a block off of Cortland Avenue. I'd say this home is nicer than your average home in Bernal in terms of the finishes, but similar in the floor plan in that it's multiple levels and you can find the bedrooms spread out between different floors. But before we go and tour this home, let's talk a little bit about the numbers. So as I mentioned, some homes are selling at around 2018 prices, and this home is an example of that. The sellers bought it in 2018 for $2.8 million at $1,234 a square foot. Homes on this side of Bernal for a similar level of build and size with views were selling in 2021 to 2022 for $100 a square foot more. As an example of that, you've got 3662 Folsom Street. That's just 2 blocks away from this house. Again, similar finishes and size. That home sold for $3 million at $1,350 a square foot. Another example is 237 Ellsworth Street. That home is about 4 blocks away from this house. That home sold at $3,350,000 at $1,349 a square foot. Now let's go tour the home. All right, this is a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home just above 2,200 square feet with 1-car garage, and seismic updates were done to the home in 2005. What I love most about this house is that you have access to outdoor space from every level. As you can see, the home has been updated. You've got white oak plank floors, an open concept that flows straight to the outdoors. You got a really nice, cute kitchen, and you've got these really nice accordion doors that open out to the outdoor deck with stairs that lead down to the backyard. So you really get this indoor-outdoor flow on this main level. On this level, you also have a full bathroom. So you've also got a full bedroom on this level. But before we head on up and check out the primary suite, let's take a look outside. So you've got these accordion doors that kind of just fold this way, bringing the outdoors inside. And you've got this really nice, sizable deck. The weather in Bernal is also pretty good. It's a little bit of a foggier day today. But generally speaking, the weather is pretty nice out here. So you would really actually enjoy the outdoor spaces here. You can use it as is or have another dining table to extend the living space. But from this deck, you can also take these stairs down to your backyard. Now let's head on up and check out the primary suite and another bedroom that could also be used as a nursery or an office. Okay, guys, I really love this primary suite for so many reasons. One, you get so much natural light. So you've got 2 skylights here that are remote control operated. The views from your primary suite are just phenomenal. You've got a gas-fired fireplace. And so again, you just have access to the outdoors with the sizable deck and amazing views of the city. This bedroom is complete with a walk-in closet. So again, another walk-in closet. So you've got ample space to store things and a smaller closet on this side. The bathroom was also renovated, and again, the high ceilings throughout this home are just beautiful. You've got a nice soaking tub, a dual sink countertop here, and then a walk-in shower as well, with a nice big window and really bringing in that natural light. To complete this main level, as I mentioned, this room can be served as a nursery to keep the baby close, or you can use it as an office. Now let's go downstairs to the final level. That level can work well for maybe an au pair or just some extra bedrooms for extended family stays. And you also have access to the outdoors from downstairs. Let's go check it out. So this whole lower level could really be used in many different ways, as I mentioned, for an au pair, extended family stays, and it also does have its own separate entrance, so you could potentially even do short-term stays. And then you've got 2 additional rooms. So this room here also has direct access to the backyard, and there is a closet wardrobe just behind this door. And to complete this level, you've got this additional bedroom as well that could serve well as we have it staged as an office or another bedroom. Like the other bedroom here, you do have direct access to the backyard. So let's go check out the backyard. So really, this kind of completes this house. I hope you enjoyed the tour of this gorgeous home, and it gave you a good sense of what you can expect to buy in this part of Bernal Heights at this price point. So if you're interested in other areas where you can maybe find a home at a deal, check out our neighborhood videos on Miraloma Park or Sunnyside. Or if you're looking for content on other neighborhoods, leave us a comment below and let us know. Or if you're looking to move to San Francisco, reach out to us, call, text, or email. We're ready to take you on a grand tour and help you make a smooth move to San Francisco.